high school, I was just like a real big nerd, you know? Because everybody kind of like separated in these little cliques, you know? You had the skateboarders, and you had like the freaky looking people like that turned into the goths, and you had like the redneck preppy kids. So for a while I was kind of like confused, like who would I hang out with, and I don't know, it was kind of a weird time for me.
So then tell me about Omar.
He was the popular kid in his grade. Didn't have a lot of girlfriends, but had a lot of girls that wanted to be his girlfriend, you know? And he had, you know, like hair down to his shoulders and was just like a real chilled out guy, always funny. Anybody that you talked to and said, hey, you know, do you know Omar? Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Omar was part of the in crowd, while Bernie was more of a loner, an outsider.
Hopefully they're not going to give us any static for coming here.
Bernie had always admired Omar, the popular kid, from afar. But never had Bernie been more intrigued than he was on the afternoon during his freshman year, when he witnessed something unlike anything he or anyone else at the school had seen before.
I walked out, and for a second, I was like, you know, what's going on? I just saw all these kids like standing around. I'm like, what's going on? And then I saw a lot of kids making fun of him, you know, like just talking about what's he doing, and this and that, you know, screaming stuff at him.
Bernie and the others who were gathering had come upon Omar praying at the flagpole in front of the school, something that in and of itself would not have been so out of the ordinary.
A lot of the Christian students that went to the church right there, right, would come over, and you know, before school, all the students would come over here in a big circle and hold hands and say a big prayer.
But Omar was not reciting scripture familiar to those in Daphne, a Christian community planted firmly in the heart of the Bible Belt. On this day, Omar was engaged in Muslim prayer.
It'd be funny because you see, you know, like Omar right here praying, you know, and then you look over here and you see kind of like a little flock of kids on the distance, and the principal looking through the office and stuff like that.
So is it kind of a spectacle?
Oh yeah, definitely, you know, it's a spectacle.
I remember going to school to get Bernie out for a doctor's appointment, and here's this kid that is standing at the flagpole. He's standing up, and then he's kneeling, and then he's on the ground. You know, I was fascinated. I said, what in the world is he doing? He said, Mom, he's praying. For a teenager to do something that was so different, you know, not caring what anyone thought, that was remarkable to me.
Omar, like most of his classmates, had been raised Baptist, his mother's faith. But in the summer between his freshman and sophomore year of high school, Omar traveled to his father's homeland of Syria. There, he was profoundly affected by the Islamic teachings he was exposed to. Omar returned to Daphne with a new set of religious beliefs. Beliefs that were shocking to those around him.
I kind of just was able to see, you know, like how all his close classmates viewed him. When he saw that he wasn't in the in crowd and people didn't get him, it messed with him.
For Bernie, Omar had suddenly become much more relatable.
I was the weird, nerdy, kind of reserved kid that nobody wanted to talk to either, so I mean, it was perfect for me. One day I went up to him and I was like, so I heard that you're Islamic now, and he's like, yeah, I'm a Muslim now. I was like, okay, so what's all that about?
Omar spoke passionately about his newly adopted religion, and his charismatic nature, which had gotten him elected sophomore class president, was fully intact.
He has a very, very magnetic personality. He felt very, very strongly about stuff, you know, and he would go and pursue it and, you know, went all out, man. He wouldn't hold anything back. I think you look at yourself when you're 16 and 17 and like wonder what life is going to be like, you know, 10 years from now.
At 16, Bernie Colbyhouse could not have imagined the trajectory that his life would take. Bernie and Omar's journey together began in Daphne, Alabama, where Bernie was raised by a single mom.
Role model, that, you know, fatherly support. You know, he didn't have a lot of guidance. He didn't have a lot of supervision at that time. Very painful. You know, I had a lot of shame. I felt that he deserved so much better as a mother. He needed a mom and I wasn't here. And there was Omar.
Bernie found refuge at Omar's house.
I would go to his house, you know, and he was praying 5 times a day. And he's like, you want me to show you how to pray? And it's like, okay, so learn how to do that. Before I knew it, you know, I was like praying 5 times a day. And I noticed a big change in myself. It was the right thing at the right time for me.
I mean, I really didn't know a lot about what was going on until one day Omar's mom called and she was just livid and said, I don't know if you know what's going on over here, but they are studying Islam. And I don't know what you know about it, but it's not a good thing. We had a throwdown. He came home and it was, you know, it was on.
She flipped out, man. Took the day off work, stormed home. You are not going to be Muslim. You are not going to face the East and pray 5 times a day and do this and that, and you're still going to eat pork, and I don't care what you think.
Bernie was forbidden from seeing Omar and from practicing.
He would get up and pray early in the morning before I'd even get up for work, and he would stay in his room and study for hours and hours and hours. He just had a peace over him that I'd never seen. He was just calm. It was like he had a bright light shining around him. It was something that just, he threw everything that he had into it.